One other little element I can think of here too. I'm curious, Ryan, since you work with pilots every day, if you're seeing that in the pilot community, and it's this concept of sandwich generations. So where the parents are moving back in with the children, while the children are also maybe still taking care of their children and have them on the payroll. So the three generations living together, or even if they're not living together, maybe that middle parent could be a young baby boomer or somebody in that middle range, still taking care of both generations on either side of them.
There's some scary stuff going on what it really is, I see, is the family dynamic right now. Um, we talk about sometimes how it skips a generation. I think I see a lot of successful airline pilots where they paid for their kids to go to school, go to college. They've graduated, and suddenly they're living in the basement back at home. And there's lots of reasons for that. I mean, interest rates are really high. It's harder to buy your own house, or rental costs are high. In this environment, you can get a job, but that job is still not going to be paying a lot more like it used to. Where now on top of that, you might have student loan debt that you're dealing with. So I'm not saying it might be a harder situation for individuals growing up right now, but you can't sacrifice your own retirement to continue to take care of your children. And that's what I worry about, and what I see with a lot of my clients, where they're bringing their kids back in. They're still paying for their kids. They're still paying for their cell phone bills, insurance, and they're not able to save for themselves to make sure that they're going to be okay in retirement, with the hope or understood conversation that their kids will take care of them once they get where they need that long-term care. Well, guess what? Can I get that in writing?
Yeah.
I mean,
and then many people are still also taking care of the adults in their life, their grandparents, their parents.
Absolutely.
And so you're also trying to help out that generation that took care of you and helped you out. But yeah, when you're reaching both directions, that's got to be really taxing on folks.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's definitely scary times, and we haven't even talked about our national debt and how that could affect things going forward.
Yeah. Go kind of point back to that same conversation with Social Security and how that plays into it, and taxes and all those kinds of things. Definitely didn't have the debt where we have it now.
Yeah.
For some of those prior retirement generations.
Well, I still think about tough love, because I talk about that a lot. My job is to be honest with my clients or prospects and say, hey, you're behind, you're ahead, whatever it might be. And I still remember what my dad said to me when, I had graduated from school and everything else. And he said, yeah, son, you can come home. You can live in the basement. And I was like, well, Dad, we don't have a basement. And he goes, exactly. And so I got it early on. Like, oh, okay, I'm on my own now. So
I love it. Yeah. I got the message too when I moved to college. And then when I came back home for the first time from college at like Thanksgiving that year, my room had been turned into the guest room. Like, it didn't have any of my personality left on it. It was totally changed.
And back then we had keys to our house, and suddenly the locks are changed, like,
there you go. Okay. Yep. I got the message pretty loud and clear.
Yeah,
so,
which is probably the best thing they did for you.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt about it. And it was really cool to be able to then, I took a lot of pride in then eventually, I'm sure you had the same thing. You come home, visit, and Dad slips you a 20 or something out the door. Hey, here's some gas, mate. Take care of this. And I took a lot of pride. And when on the day when he went to hand me a 20, I finally said, I'm good. You keep it, Dad. You keep it for gas.
Well, absolutely.
That was a badge of honor to be able to do that.
Yeah. Before my dad passed, when we went out, I bought. Like, I took him to lunch. I took him to dinner, because it's given back for all those years that they teach you to be a contributing member to society, and I do think there's pride in that. Where, hey, now it's switched, and I'm going to take care of you.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that, and this could lead us down a whole nother tangent, but I just feel like I have to strike on it, and then and we don't have to belabor the point. But it's just really funny that you use that verbiage. Growing up, my mom would always say, like, what do you want from me, or what do you want out of being a parent? And she's like, my job is to make you a contributing member to society. So it wasn't, I want you to be happy. It wasn't any of that. Now she's HR, and she was very matter of fact about a lot of those kinds of things. But I think that's important. Like, first, I want you to be a contributing member to society.
Well, and we've changed.
That's a good way to put it.
Now it's so gray. I want you to be happy. I want you to feel, whatever.
Chase your dream, or whatever it might be.
I never got that. It was, I want you to stand on your own 2 feet. I want you to have it better than I have it, and I want you to be a contributing member to society. And there was a lot more of that, kick me out of the nest and I'll eventually figure out how to fly, versus the little bit of the mentality of the failure to launch now, like, oh, you can stay here, it'll be fine.
Yeah, it's got to be tough. I mean, I'm not a parent yet, and maybe you've dealt with these challenges, Ryan. But it can be tough to see. I would imagine your kids go through pain, and I think you don't want them to have to experience that. But then when you have so much pain avoidance, you learn so much through pain and discomfort and unfortunate circumstances and things not going right. So when you eliminate all of that pain and all of that bad stuff from life, makes it then tougher to deal with it when reality still hits you.
Exactly right. And if you truly love them, you want to have them go through that pain where you're still there watching. You still got the kind of the bumpers on the bowling, laying there to make sure they don't go sideways and off on the edge. But I mean, learning how to deal with difficult circumstances, and I mean that's a huge part of learning how to deal with life, because you got to get knocked down and get back up. And I would encourage anybody out there to be tough on their kids, because if you're tough on them, they're actually going to deal with life a lot better.